I'm Wilfred Korth. I'm the president of Canoe Trail Goliad. I'm going to spend some time with you this morning talking to you about the Goliad paddling trail and kayaking in general. So the Canoe Trail Goliad started years ago working with Goliad State Park and the San Antonio River Authority to develop some put-ins along the San Antonio River for kayakers and canoers because there were no official places to put in. You had a steep bank. So through the years we've been able to develop those put-ins. One is at Highway 59, another is downtown Goliad at Ferry Street, and then with the takeout at Goliad State Park. So it's easy to get in and out of the river. Working with the San Antonio River Authority, one of the things we always tell our paddlers is to check the flow rate of the river. Being at the lower end of the river, when San Antonio gets a lot of rain, potentially those floodwaters end up here on our paddling trail. So even though Goliad could be dry, we could be flooding. So always check the river conditions as far as flow rate. Our partner, the San Antonio River Authority, you can go to their website and look for their river conditions link, and it will tell you what the flow of the river is. Our river flow is about 300 to 500 CFS, that's cubic feet per second, and that's a good flow for our river. Again, watch for those flood conditions. If you see it, it's in the thousands of CFS, you don't want to be on the river. That's when it's unsafe. The nice thing about our paddling trail, because it is in Goliad County, which is a rural county, once you get on the river, you don't usually see another person the whole float trip. All you see are wildlife, birds, deer. We have a lot of hogs along the riverbank. So it's a pretty nice float. It's really good for families. The water is fairly calm most of the time. It's not really deep most of the river, so it's a comfortable, safe float for families. I always tell people, if you've never floated on a river before, there are some safety things you need to keep in mind. One I've already mentioned, that is noting what the river flow is. You don't want to get on the river when it's a high flow. That's a very dangerous situation. The other is to watch the weather, especially winter, fall in South Texas. We get cold fronts that can blow in really quick. You can go out on the river and it's 70 degrees and you're comfortable, and the next thing you know, you're down in the 40s and it starts raining and you can be exposed to hypothermia. So always watch the weather. Other things, I always tell somebody when I'm going to get on the river, you never know, you get on the river, get in trouble. People need to know where you are so they can come and look for you. And then prep, always wear a life jacket. And I always stress that even for adults, if you're a good swimmer, I've been paddling for 40 years and I have witnessed accidents where people have fallen out of their craft. They're temporarily stunned. Either the boat hits them or something happens. And if you're not having a life jacket that helps keep you afloat, you can quickly get sucked under the water in the river. So a life jacket is very important. And to make sure the life jacket is right for your size. A lot of people don't know that life jackets are rated by the size of the person using them. You'd never want to put an adult life jacket on a small child. It's just not designed to keep them safe. Other things, again, back to the weather, dress appropriately. You're on the water, summertime. We could hit 100 degrees with the sun blaring down on you. I always recommend a hat, sunscreen, appropriate clothing that's going to keep you cool and comfortable. Sometimes you've got mosquitoes to worry about, so if that's an issue, make sure to pack some sunscreen and pack water. We think sometimes our float trips are going to be fast, but it may take a little longer, and water is important to have. Stay hydrated. Know your limits. Don't try and paddle a further distance than you comfortably can do. Always pack a first aid kit. You can get hung up on something along the river. River kayak's a little different than being out on a lake or a pond. You've got what I call read the river. So the river is a force moving downstream, and you don't want to get too close to the banks where there may be trees hanging out, because the river is going to want to take your kayak under that tree, not around it. The other is, I always tell people to watch for V's in the river, and if the V is pointed towards you, that means that there is an obstruction under the water. You need to avoid it. When the V is open towards you, then that means that's a chute that you can go through. So I always say watch for those V's in the water, because they're an important way to read the river. One thing on pre-trip on the paddle trail, I would suggest that you drive down and look at your put in and take out locations before putting in the river, just so you know what they look like. Because often when you're on the river looking for those landings, you may miss them if you don't know what you're looking for. So take time to do that. So the Goliad Paddling Trail, it's a very family-friendly paddle trip. From Highway 59 to Goliad State Park, you're looking at just a little over 6 miles of paddling. Most families can paddle that in 2.5 hours really easy. Again, all the landings are really nice. They're easy to put in, easy to take out. You've got good parking at all the landings. Paddle trails open year-round, so you can come down anytime. You know, we'd invite you to come down and experience Goliad County through our river. We do the Canoe Trail Goliad. We do offer 2 organized floats every year. We do a fall paddle the first Saturday of November every year, and then we do one in the springtime. And on those days, we offer free shuttle service for all our paddlers and provide lunch for everybody.